Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marana Chamber podcast. I'm Audra Winters, and I'm your host for today's podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Our podcasts feature Marana Chamber members and business owners sharing information about their business, what makes them successful, what they have learned, and tips to help you with your business or everyday life. We hope you find these podcasts helpful and entertaining, and that you will let others know about them. Our podcasts are being recorded and edited by Anstar Production Group. I would now like to welcome our guest to the show, Wanda Bader, owner of Strategize Your Success. Welcome, Wanda. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me today.
No, thank you. I know you got a business going, and so I appreciate you taking the time to come into the studio today and, just share a little bit about what you're doing and what's been going on in your world. So first, tell us a little bit about Wanda, how you got started with Strategize Your Success, all that good stuff.
Well, I started the company back in 2011, and it was actually an offshoot of another business that I had at the time. And it just kind of progressed where it was like I was working two businesses at the same time, decided which one should I, stick with? And I said, well, the numbers always tell you, right?
Exactly.
And since I can't be up 24/7, I had to make a choice. And I decided to work with Strategize Your Success because once I launched it, it went really well. And gave up the other business and haven't looked back since.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your business too.
Okay. Well, it's like I came from corporate America, worked for a couple of Fortune 500 companies. Was at the point in my life where I had a small child, and I didn't want to quite do the stay-at-home mommy full-time thing, but I also wanted to be available to be able to do, the field trips and all the fun things that go along with being a parent. And so I decided to start my own business so that I could have more control on my schedule. And I said, after all, I've been making money for, these large firms.
For everybody else.
For most of my life. Why can't I do it for myself? What do I have to lose? I'll give it a try. And that's what got me on the journey of entrepreneurship. And I'd worked on commissions, and basically when you work on commissions, you're
kind of running
like
your own
an
business,
entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, you're running your own business. You get to set your own paycheck and all of that good stuff.
So it's just like it wasn't too much of a stretch for me. It wasn't like I didn't know how to survive off of something like that. So it's like I decided to go with something that was passionate to me. I took the plunge and decided, okay, what do I do? What is it that I'm really passionate about that I thought would be a fun thing to do? Because I could do whatever I wanted,
exactly.
right?
And you want to make sure it's fun and,
right.
Something you're going to enjoy if you're going to be taking time away from your family or, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And so, and also what would allow me to kind of schedule my day, make my hours the way that I wanted to. I had been in the design world, and so I knew a lot about that. And at the time, it was just beginning to become very popular to have organization within your home, within your business. And I said, that would just be like a really great synergy, because I could take the background that I have and incorporate that into working with people who have challenges with organizing their space. I went and learned what I needed to, did my research, joined the professional organization for organizers, and
there's actually an organization.
There actually is. It's called NAPO, National Association of Professional Organizers.
I love that.
And I did it for 8.5 years very successfully. Worked with a lot of busy professionals. And I also worked with some people who had some challenges, little bit of hoarding and things like that. I have a degree in psychology, so that came in really handy for a lot of those scenarios.
All
yes.
of it, yeah.
But when I was working with these busy professionals, a lot of them had their own business. And that was also at the time when online marketing was becoming something that the average person could do for their own business. It wasn't something that required that, we go to a big ad agency and do all these things. There were all these opportunities that were opening up. And I, with my own business, decided to dive into that. And I learned as much as I could. I was like a big sponge. And that's when I decided that, yes, I am a geek and a nerd. And I really like all this stuff. This is very fascinating.
I was going to say, every time I talk to you, you have so much knowledge in your head about what's coming up, what's already happened, what's past, So when it comes to technology and social media and just anything online, you are the one to be right there on the spot. So
absolutely. And it's like, you have to stay, into what's going on in the marketplace, because I am the person that has to experiment before I allow someone that I'm working with to, take that plunge. If I don't know if it's a good place for them to go, I'm not going to tell them it's a good place to go. So that's the fun part, is always learning new techniques, new trends, what's going on in the marketplace, what's succeeding, and then also try to mesh that with my clients' personalities. But what got me on that track was because I was working with so many business owners in their homes with the organization. They were like, organize our, our calendar, organize our space, organize our time. It's like whatever you can do to get us more organized. And then they were like, how do you do this with marketing? How do you do this with marketing? Because I was doing all these newfangled things at the time. And I was like, there's a business there. There's the aspect of marketing and, all the things that I've learned over the time that I did it, because I was getting TV spots. Because I was in an evergreen business. So it's like, whenever it was a slow news day and they needed someone, they would call me up. Or
cool. Yeah.
I was getting talk shows on the radio about the topic, because I was looked at as an expert in my field. And so it was kind of an easy transition to kind of take that. And I tried to kind of mesh organizing with marketing, and the business model didn't quite work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was just like, it was confusing people as to what my message was. Are you an organizer or are you a marketer?
Which marketing, you have to be organized,
yes,
though,
you
too.
do. And that does come in handy, especially when we do project management type work. So staying, organized and helping people stay on task, and also, don't chase too many new things, because then you'll just get overwhelmed. And I was used to dealing with people who are overwhelmed in their spaces, and now we're dealing with people who might be overwhelmed in their business. So a lot of it, kind of transferred over into this new skill set that I developed. It's been a heck of a ride. I've really enjoyed it thoroughly. And
so that's where Strategize Your Success came into place.
Yeah, that's when I was doing both at the same time. And it's like, it was hard to be the organizer and be the marketer at the same time. And then meshing it didn't quite work the way I expected it to, because it was just, again, too much of a mixed message. So we just started with sticking with online marketing. Okay. Because that seemed to be the thing that everybody was the most interested in.
And that's where you found your passion kind of too, is that, hey, I can do this. I learn all this stuff very quickly, and I can share it with other people too. So with Strategize Your Success online marketing, what are some of the things that you do? When people think about online marketing, millions of things come into my head. Absolutely. But what do you... Is that millions of things that you do? Okay.
It's the hard part about being a full service online marketing agency, is because we do offer so many different things. I just usually tell people, if there's something that you're not quite sure if we do, and it's online, ask me, because more than likely we can help you out with that. And I say we because it's not just me. It's me and a team of people that support my business. We have developers, we have copywriters, we have people who are brand specialists, graphic artists, and VAs, virtual assistants, that help out in getting all the things done that people need these days. Because I'm just one person, and, I can't do it all. I don't have the expertise to do it all. And but I know enough.
But you know enough people.
Yeah, I know enough to kind of be that person that takes the techie talk from the techs, brings it down to a layman's terms kind of language, and explains that over to somebody who's looking for the service so that they're not overwhelmed with the, techie talk. And they can comprehend a little bit easier without being embarrassed that they don't know what that means or not getting the full picture. Which is okay, And I always tell them that's like when you come to me, I'll try to give you the best answer I can. And if you're still confused, let's look at it again. And let me see if I can rewrap what I told you or give you some visuals. I mean, a lot of people learn visually. So that's worked out really great. And then, it's like the people that I work with, say a website developer, not all of them are comfortable with working with people that way, with that one-on-one engagement. And so it works better for them to work with me, and then I speak to the client. So yeah, it's been a great way to run my business.
Yeah. Well, and you're also an educator too. You teach a lot of different classes on different new programs that are coming out, or even things that we, have used in the past that they're upgrading to. So you're always offering things online, and then especially to the chamber, we're gracious enough to have you as be one of our educators too, to help support our members and our community, so forth too. So really appreciate that on your end. And then you're also a public speaker too. You, or I'm probably not saying that right, but tell us about that, because that's really kind of how I first was introduced to you as. I mean, yes, you've always had Strategize Your Success as a chamber member, but I just remember your public speaking.
Right. It's what I like to do is, again, try to explain something that might be overwhelming for some people to learn, and bring that in to present that to them in a way that is fun, hopefully engaging, and also gives them the ability to learn a new, thing that they can add to their business. One of the things that I was offered quite a few years ago was being a partner with Constant Contact Email Marketing. And they approached me and asked me if I would be a local expert for them and do public speaking as well. And so that's been, a real delight to be part of. And it offers a platform that is not overcomplicated. Once it's just like you don't know what you don't know until you see it or somebody shares it with you. So it's just little things like that I like to take and bring to, an educational class or course. It can be a webinar, it can be a live event, and help people understand how to either overcome something or how to take something that they feel like they're challenged with and bring it to bite sizes so that they can actually understand the step-by-step approach, and that, yes, they can do this too.
But they still are going to need you. Even though they can do it, they're still going to need your expert, right?
Well,
on something.
Yeah, it's like, in my world, a lot of my typical clients have been the DIY person for so long that they reach a certain level in their business where they need to work within their genius and, promote more of their time towards that. So they get to the point where they might not want to do it all anymore, or take parts of their business and basically hand it over to us to take charge of and do some of the heavy lifting, and still working with them and getting their ideas and obviously their personality and their business knowledge into whatever we're putting out for them, whether it's a website, whether it is rebranding. If they want to educate people, we help them with their PowerPoints and also the scheduling of events, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I mean, even doing a webinar takes a lot of work, as you know.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get a lot of that publicity out, and it's just time consuming. And it's not to say that sometimes, people don't know what to do or how to do it. They just don't want to do it anymore, or they just don't have the time to do it anymore.
Well, they're busy doing what they're experts in, and then
Right.
you're coming in as an expert doing that for them too. So.
Right. And that way, hopefully a trusted, confident expert that they can rely on to be able to support their business. So, I tell people to look at us as outsourcing their marketing, so we could be an extension of their business without them actually having a marketing director or a department or something like that within their business.
And do you see that that's the trend? Because I also see not just with marketing, but like HR and accounting and stuff like that, more and more companies, especially as even bigger companies, you always think, oh, it's small, startups, but it's actually large companies too are starting to outsource a lot of that too.
Yes. And sometimes it just makes financial sense because, if you have somebody who is a full-time employee on the payroll, there's, obviously a lot of unseen financial aspects to that relationship and the benefits and things like that people would expect. With somebody like us where you can outsource, it's you don't need to worry about any of that. You just tell us what you need. We give you a proposal, let you know what you can expect from us. And obviously, if you're not happy with it or you change your mind down the road, it's not something that's like a long-term commitment if it's not working out for you. Sometimes, especially with COVID, we've had a lot of our clients, unfortunately, had to reduce either staffing or maybe having something within their business they couldn't afford to outsource to anymore. So it's like, I guess that could be considered a plus as well. It's like you can either lower packages with us, increase packages with us, get what we call a one-off, one-time service from us. We're there to support businesses however they need us.
Excellent, excellent. And speaking of COVID too, I mean, you had already been doing everything online and doing the Zoom and the video conferencing and all of that good stuff. When COVID happened and everybody was like rushing, how did you see your business change with COVID too? But you also did a lot of in-person stuff too. So basically, how did your business change?
Well, what we saw is that unfortunately, some of the businesses that we worked with that may have been a hands-on type of business, like let's say somebody who was an esthetician or somebody who had a massage therapy business, those type of things were really, really struggling. And so that was really sad to see those type of businesses not be able to, that's just something you can't take virtually, right? It's just like, you could teach people how to do their own facial, but a lot of the times it's the machines and everything that an esthetician would use. Or, somebody who does massage, that's a licensed massage therapist, that they went to school for that. You can't do that to yourself, that takes away all the fun of getting a massage. For us, what we did is we thought about how can we best serve the people who do have ways of being able to bounce back somehow from having not being able to meet in person to having online meetings, or if they were a public speaker, which one of my clients was, it's like all of a sudden overnight, it's like all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. Your public speaking engagements are all disappearing. And a lot of people who are public speakers don't necessarily do webinars online. And so they had to learn how to bounce back from that. But, there is a learning curve there. It's a lot different of an approach. You're using platforms you've maybe never used before. So it's like we help people, I wouldn't say that we are the type of people who are producers in a sense, but we can help with the production in a sense, as far as getting it scheduled out on their social media, because we do social media marketing, helping them with their email lists and how to get the message out, helping them place ads to promote the events. Those type of things is what we help our clients with as well. So we were doing things like that. And then I'm an early adapter, as you probably know, Audra,
Yes.
with a lot of platforms. I love new technology, and I actually started using Zoom when it first started out.
I was going to say, yeah, because you taught us how to use Zoom. So.
Right. So
or how not to use Zoom.
or how to use Zoom right.
Exactly.
But so we were helping a lot of our nonprofits too. We're suffering with this transition of how do we take this online. One of our clients is a large church in the area, and they were having to take, they couldn't bring people into the church to do their Sunday services and things like that. So how do we take that and put that online? And do live streaming and offer all these different options. So what we were doing is helping those people who we could help, who had the opportunity to transition, by training them and their staff, letting them know the upsides and the downsides behind using different technologies. And we all saw, that Zoom definitely, unfortunately, had like people, bombing Zoom meetings and things like that. So how can we avoid that?
Make it safe.
It's like, how does a waiting room work, And also, if it was a one-person situation where it was say a public speaker who didn't have necessarily a staff on hand being there to support and helping them to see, who's in the audience. Oh, this person has a question, and helping them to kind of embrace this new technology way of presenting. So, how do you do a PowerPoint at the same time that you're talking? It can be intimidating.
Yeah.
And when you're used to, some people have been speaking in person for 20 years. How do you take that and rewrap it overnight? It became very challenging for a lot of people. And then, I don't have a way to charge people to come to these events. How do we e-commerce? It's just like all the different tools that were necessary for each individual business. And how could we, or nonprofit, how could we help them to bounce back somehow, even though it wasn't hopefully going to be too long term. And I think it was a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. But it's like, still having a business after everything was hopefully going to get back to normal for us, which I'm glad to see that's happening again.
So what's new coming up for you?
Well, learning another new platform.
Okay, can you talk about that?
Yeah. Actually, I applied to be an early adapter to Facebook's new platform, and it's called Hotline. And so you've been invited on to be.
Yeah, it seems like it's really coming along, and I love the name Hotline.
Yeah, it's somebody said recently to me that wanted to be on my next one that I do. They said, leave it to Facebook to take something that was old and make it new again, right? So, but Hotline is a platform that's kind of evolving out of the whole Clubhouse, excitement, where things are more audio based, and also the excitement of podcasting, as we're doing right now. But taking it and also adding a visual component to it where people could be seen if they want to by turning on video. And it's really, really beta right now, as you could tell by jumping in on my very first one, which was very brave of you. But it was awesome to have the support of 6 different developers from Facebook joining us during that meeting. And anytime that I've gone on after, they're just right there, Johnny on the spot, and, helping us to figure out what's working, what's not working, and figuring out what will make this more successful for everybody in the future. So that's fun.
Yeah. And I see that you're still doing the beta testing and stuff too with them too. So I might be able to pop on again. But I'm like, hey,
definitely,
if it's something Wanda's doing, it's got to be cool. So
or at least fun, right? It's
Exactly.
like cool and fun. That's always nice. But they're working on. When I popped in last time, I asked them, when should we be back to see some major changes that we haven't seen? And so I think in another week, we might be seeing some new things on the platform. We'll have to pop in and give it a go again.
Is that the normal kind of timing on these new platforms? Is, just getting all the nitty gritty stuff out? Is that normally how
Well,
that
it's
type
just
of
like
work?
when you're an early adapter, like I was an early adapter to Be Live TV, which is a
Yeah.
way to live stream your
Did it take just
Facebooks.
as long to get that
It
kind of?
did. It took a
Okay.
couple of years for them to.
Okay.
It's like I think it's been like 2.5 years since they first started, and you've got to be willing to just kind of ride the ride.
Well, and I was just wondering if that's the normal, time frame, because, they bring out these great platforms and you think, wow, why didn't I think of that? But you realize that it takes, probably 2-3 years to develop. So,
Yeah. It's just like recently I'm learning a new platform where you're working with an artificial intelligence bot who is actually learning all the time and helping people with their content writing.
okay. I'm going to need that
So
one.
it's not at the point where it's going to replace a good copywriter, because they're definitely worth their weight in gold. But it is there to help people who, for instance, are looking to write their own blogs and
Kind of get started with
right.
maybe a
It
short
gives you
story or something.
ideas on what to write the blog about. It gives you content that kind of helps you put your own, you want to put your own voice into it, obviously. And it's really great because this AI, it's called Jarvis, is actually learning every time somebody asks it to help. And it's at, I think it's only at 10% capacity, and it's blowing my mind away right now.
Wow.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when it's full blown 100%.
Or even at 50%.
Yeah. Well, and will it ever be 100%? I guess it's just going to always be doing that
Developing.
online, learning from people making requests of what they want to write about. And at this point right now, it's based on not so much trendy stuff, but because again, it's only at this smaller level, but it's more on the level of, more evergreen topics or topics that are very popular already, like, video marketing, for instance.
Okay, great. So your business is located here in Marana, Arizona, but you take clients from all over, right?
Yes, technically my business, its home base is in central Tucson, but it's like, I live out in this direction, so I'm always participating in what I can with the Marana Chamber of Commerce, because it's a wonderful chamber and very active, and I'm glad to see that things are picking up.
Yes.
Looking forward to the next mixer. And but I like to be able to meet with people, shake hands with people, find out what people are doing in their business, because I always learn from the people I work with as well.
Yeah. Besides the Marana Chamber website, how else can people find you?
You could go to strategizeyoursuccess.com. And there you can find, a matter of fact, we have an event that is coming up June the 10th, which is the 8 common mistakes to avoid when email marketing. So that's going to be a fun topic, because it's just some things that you just don't know that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. And how can you do it better?
Yeah.
So, and that will be online. You can find that under our events tab on our website.
Okay.
Again, at strategizeyoursuccess.com.
Okay. And then you're also on Facebook, Instagram. You're on Instagram a lot. Where else?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and let's see, who else did I forget?
I know there's so many out there.
Yeah, it's like we're on the major 5.
Okay.
So it's like we dabbled in Pinterest, but it's really not our ideal client. And I always recommend don't go places that aren't where your ideal client
Exactly.
is going to be. But we always test the waters just to see if things change and what works and what doesn't
Because
work.
things are constantly changing,
Yeah.
what I know you're passionate about is change and finding all the new stuff. So
Well, and marketing is a big experiment, right? It's like we have to try things to know if it's going to work for us. And that's why it's important to know who your ideal client really is, the vision in your head of who that person is, and, where do they hang out? So you can go
Exactly.
stalk them and find out what they need from you.
exactly. And that's what makes you a great strategic partner with the chamber too. With your business, you're also signed up as a strategic partner with the chamber. And really what that means is that you help our new members or our present members help them find their customers online. So with keywords and making sure that their profile on the website is up to date and all of that good stuff. So we appreciate you doing that. And, many people or businesses have commented that they found us first on the Marana Chamber website. And I think that's because of our partnership with you. So thank you to that.
Well, the enhanced listings that you offer are really a great deal for people to participate in. And one reason is the SEO aspect of it, because you have such a big website and a big presence online. Being on that website actually helps draw business to your business.
So see, little tip right there.
Mm-hmm.
Free. If you want more tips, we're going to charge you, or Wanda's going to charge you. So again, Wanda, thank you for joining us today and being part of the chamber. And I just love hearing about your business, and I wish you so much success with it. And again, what is your website?
StrategizeYourSuccess.com.
All spelled out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Wanda. You have a great day. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to Anstar for recording and producing this for us. Please make it a great day and be kind to everyone. Thank you.